Oh, welcome to a new episode of Conversations with Dr. Harriet and our special guest, Pastor Michelle Claiborne. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you doing, Harriet?
I am so good, so good.
Good,
And I'm
good.
just so happy you were able to take time out of your busy schedule
Yes.
to hang out with us right here on Conversations with Dr. Harriet on the Power Network.
Um,
So before we start, I know everybody knows you, especially all of us in Richmond, Virginia and Philly. So for the couple of people watching who may not know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
well, yes. Thank you. Thank you again for the invitation. I hail from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm the sixth child, the baby of the family. I'm a preacher, I'm a motivator, a speaker, and I'm here residing in the Richmond, Virginia area. And I just love the Lord and church and ministry, and I love encouraging women. I love encouraging the young people. My motivation is just to see everybody just start a new beginning, have a fresh start. And I'm always excited when I see people have come out of their cocoon and just explore what God has for them next. So I'm a motivator. I'm more of a pusher in the faith and the gospel. I'm kind of getting up there now, so some people will call me more of a mother or a senior seasoned member of the gospel. But I enjoy living for God and doing the work of the Lord. So that's a little bit about me. I've been working 18 years in insurance business. That's my secular, but my passion for ministry is what I enjoy the most.
That's good. And I know I've known you now. I don't know how many years that I've actually known you, maybe
It's
close to 20, maybe.
probably so.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a long time, and so I've always it's always nice to have friends that you can count on, and I
Yeah.
think you've done each of my platforms that
Yeah.
I've always had between we were on the other network that we were on. We did the public access network in
Yeah.
Virginia,
Yeah.
all of my radio shows
All
and
of them.
yeah, so and you've been a part of everything, my conferences, and so I just appreciate having you in my life. And also, you were actually one of our lead assistants when we did the book tour for Dr.
Yeah.
Jamal Bryant,
Yeah.
and that was a fun time.
That was.
We had some great stories, and just
Yeah.
being on the road and meeting so many wonderful people across the country,
Yes. It was.
and I know people are still talking about you.
Yeah.
She's a dancing sister. She can
Yeah.
preach, she can dance.
I enjoyed that time. I really did. And I enjoy all the platforms. And I thank you for all of your, just open them all up for me just to even be a part of it. So it's been a pleasure. It definitely has helped me in my level of ministry. Every outlet is just good.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It's my pleasure. So today we're talking about the art of pursuing.
Yes.
So I know that you were a part of a book,
Yeah.
collaborative book. And so tell us about the art of pursuing. Where did that topic come from for you?
So I was asked to be in a book, one of the collaborate in a book by Charvette Mitchell, Mitchell Productions.
Hey, Shervit.
Hey, Charvette, a very good friend of mine, and she asked me to, write a chapter in the book, and then sometimes for us preachers, we can kind of go into message mode, and sometimes I'm a preacher that writes my messages out, but I really don't preach from the paper, even though I write them out. And so just to kind of put pen to paper and knowing that this was going to be an article of pursuing in a book. So that book comes out, just a little plug, comes out November 2021. So look for that. My chapter in the book is called Art of Pursuing. When I was starting to think about the book, her book is called Pursue. What I was thinking about is how do we get there? A lot of us, want to pursue, our ministry, want to pursue, things in life, want to pursue our college degrees, want to pursue a new job opportunity. But what is the first thing that we get there in order to get to our purpose? And as I begin to think about it, I begin to think about sometimes we have little things that sidetrack us that we think is our purpose. And they are like temporary, they satisfy us for the moment. And then we realize maybe this is not my purpose. Sometimes we align ourselves to people and places and things and ministries and stuff like that, and vision, and thinking that this is what God has purpose in our lives, only to come to realize this was just really a stepping stone for getting us to our real purpose.
Right.
Right? We have to look out for the little stones that are getting us to our purpose. This just a mark. This is just a piece of the land. Sometimes in the Bible, when they got to a piece of land, they mark it. That they were here or that they were there. Sometimes you have to mark it and say, I'm here, but it's not my final destination. And when it comes to pursuing to me is a mode. You have to get into a particular mode and pursue, almost like a predator. You have to be, almost like a lion, looking for its next dinner. You just have to be, if you watch a lion and you watch him, you'll see him crouch down. You'll see him be quiet. You'll see him be focused. And I say that those are the things that lead us up to purpose, is the fact that we have to become focused. We have to become in predator mode. We have to, sometimes crouch down. And what that means is sometimes in our lives is we may have to go into different vineyards and different areas, where maybe our light is not so bright, just so we can extract everything we need to out of that season.
That's good.
Oh man, sometimes we have to realize that things that we go through, are just they really are for sometimes just the season. Where we make the mistake, Dr. Harriet, is we sometimes stay too long.
Wow.
Because we feel like, oh, well, maybe this is what I'm supposed to do, and I'll just be here. I'm
You get
content.
comfortable.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes, we're comfortable because it's just a comfortable place, and we don't want to shake up the foundation, or we don't want to get out of that, like you said, our comfortable zone. As I was even thinking about some of the chapters, I was thinking about, even this year of 2020, how many of us have gotten comfortable being at home and not, being
Right.
in a place that, oh, okay, well, maybe this is just me. Sometimes we don't even dress up. No, no more, because we've lost that predator mode. Maybe, this is where I'm at. So sometimes, even with the season that we're coming out of, this pandemic, it's a perfect topic to realign, reshape our minds into getting back into pursue mode. I think about, in the 2020 year, Lord, why did this happen? We have to ask sometimes, why did things happen? And God was saying sometimes I had to pull some of us away from doing the things that we did all the time at the same time. I'm good, and I will admit that I drive down the same street all the time to go home, to go to work. I never change up my direction. I go the same direction all the time. But sometimes God, he was telling me in the 2020 years, I had to pull some of us back in order so that we can realign to our purpose that he really called us for. I feel like some of us was just doing things, and we wasn't aligned to the purpose that God had intended for our lives. We were just doing things. We were just busy.
Right. Just busy. God probably said, "Why are you busy
Right.
doing what I didn't even tell you to do?"
Right. Doing
Absolutely.
You're exactly right. We were just busy. Our lives were full. Sometimes, we could get, 2 or 3 services, 2 or 3 meetings, 2 or 3 retreats. We were just, we were just busy at this conference, that conference. We were just busy, but it wasn't aligned to where he had us going. And we took our focus, and that's what a lion does. A lion stays focused on the prey that he's about to get. Nothing distract them. You can see like flies maybe around the lion, but nothing is distracting him from what he sees that's ahead. And I think, the art of pursuing is that you cannot be distracted. Oh my goodness, you cannot be, you can't lose your focus. You can't lose what's inside of you. And that's what God was sharing with me, that the art of pursuing. And as I also go along with also pursuing is, you cannot be worried about if other people don't understand why you went this way.
Why? Wow. Say that again. Wow, that is so true.
It's so true. And I was saying, I said, you cannot be worried about if other people do not understand why you went this direction, why you went down this way, because people will try to pick you apart and be like, well, I don't know if that's God. Like their answer, like they got.
Yeah, exactly. Like God spoke to them about you.
So true. That God spoke to them about you. So, well, I don't know if that God, because it don't look like the norm. So people will make you feel like, well, I don't know. What is that? What are you doing? What is your next move? Or why are you doing what you're doing? It don't seem like the norm. We have our normal structure of how things, we think should work, a lot, how we think things should go. We got normal structure in church, and we got a program. This starts first, and then this, and then that. But sometimes God have to say, I have to take you on a different path and give you the direction that sometimes other people may not understand why you went that way.
That's so true. That's absolutely so true.
Yes.
And we, so many times we are concerned about what they think. Yes. And those they people, I'm just still trying to figure out, who are the they?
Who are they?
Who, those they people who add no value to your life.
None.
None. And we're worried about people who are not even, they're not speaking into your life.
No.
And a lot of times they're trying to keep you from even going to where, because they don't want to do anything and they don't want you to do anything. So yeah, we have to, stay focused and do what God says to do.
And do what God says
to
do. I feel like that's what in 2020, that's what happened. Because a lot of us needed to hear. When you're moving, you can't hear, right? It's only when you sometimes standing still is when you can hear clear direction. Right. I feel like that sometimes, because like I said, we were so busy, we didn't hear that say, hey, I really didn't want you to go there. I oftentimes, sometimes consult God, even about places that I should go. God, should I go here? Is this the right path for me to go? Now, sometimes, I miss the mark and I go places and, and like I said, we can get stuck in places because we didn't fully hear him say, I only wanted you to lodge there for a night. I didn't want you to stay there for a year.
Yeah, that's right. You extended stayed on your own. And now you need my help to get you out of it. Because you don't want to hurt that person's feelings and let them know your time is up. God has told you to move on. And so many times you're right. We're sitting in a situation to where God told you to leave, but you're not trying to hurt their feelings.
No,
it's those they again. We worried about those they people again.
We're worried about those they again. So like you said, we go down and we extend our stay and we keep extending it. And why? Sometimes we extend the stay because in the place that everything's set up, sometimes in the extended stay place, you ain't got to worry about your appliances. You ain't got to worry about plates and cups, because in an extended stay atmosphere, you will have sometimes the things that look comfortable. When God is saying, I didn't mean for you to stay there. I meant for you to get what you needed to get out there. And sometimes he wants you just to see what people are stuck in. Sometimes in order for you to help the next generation or the next people in your life, you sometimes have to see where they are. But it's not meant for you to stay with them. You just have to see it. In order for you to have a ministry that God has called you to maybe speak into their lives, sometimes you have to be able to identify, like, I understand why you're there because it's so comfortable being there. Because I went there and I felt the comfortableness of being there, but it wasn't meant for me to stay there. So we have
Good.
Oh my goodness.
That's so good.
Right. You can't minister to people sometimes unless you sometimes can identify. So some things come in your life, some ups, some downs, some in, some out, some hurt, some disappointments, some rejections. They come in your life so you can identify with who you're speaking to. And this is not always sometimes for ministry, maybe in the corporate world, maybe on a Zoom
That's
conference.
what I was going to ask you about. That was going to be my next question for you. Was what about people who are in the corporate world? Do they end up in that type of situation?
They do. They do. I had a young lady who was leaving from a job. One job, she was like, this door closes, another one's going to open. But she had been there for so long, that they gave her a plan and said, hey, it's time for you to go. And they kind of gave her walking papers. But she took it to mean like, maybe this is my time to move on to something else. And so people in the corporate world, sometimes we stay in a job. When I was growing up, my mom said, stay at a job as long as you got good benefits and you're getting paid every other Friday. That's a good job, right?
There you go.
Go to make sure you go to work. But sometimes we can stay in a place, and even in corporate, when God has caused us to move to a different level, a different job, a different position. But we're there sometimes to fight for what we think is where God has us, and in fact that God's trying to move us on. He may be trying to change your whole direction, your whole career. He may be trying, I don't know, he may be trying to tell you, we're in a corporate world now. He may be trying to tell you, I want you to go be a chef. You never know, I want you to go be in flowers. You have a good knack for, putting flower arrangements together. But sometimes God has got to cause you to move. The art of pursuing sometimes will take you out of your comfortable zone. But you can't be, another thing is you cannot be afraid. This is the key he told me, of failure.
Wow. You cannot be afraid of failure.
Can't be afraid of failure.
Wow. Step out on faith. Step
out on faith, even if you have to close the door, because sometimes God will make a way for you to close the door. Sometimes we just want God to close the door on us so we can say God did that. But sometimes God wants you to close the door so that way you can identify with other people that had to close the door. So sometimes you have to close the door, close the chapter of your life in order so that hey, it might have seemed like a failure, but I learned in that failure that I'm in. And that's a part of pursuing. Not all the time the lion don't always end up with the prey, because if he gets a good deer that knows how to run, he may not get that prey. He'd be like, oh man, I lost that one. But at least he tried. And sometimes that's what it takes. It takes you trying.
That's good. I love that. And then what about I know we talked about people in ministry. We've talked about people in corporate America. What about even in relationships?
Oh, yes. So true. With relationships is because relationships is an emotional thing, right? So especially for women, we go in with our emotion. We're more in the relationship as an emotional being. So that can be, that's matters of the heart. And sometimes, but you've got to be willing to pursue, or you got to be willing to be open to the next thing that's coming. I know that it's a heart thing, and sometimes it's an emotional thing, and it really can knock you off your feet, and it really can knock the wind out of you. But you've got to be willing, my God, to understand that one did not work, but it does not mean that there is not another one coming behind this one. I mean, that was just practice. I feel like, that was just practice.
Just practice.
That was just practicing. Because sometimes when you're in a relationship, you learn two things. You learn something about yourself, and then you learn something about the other person. When you're in a relationship, when you're learning, what did this bring out of me? Did this bring a good thing out of me, or did this bring anger out of me? And you might have never known you had an anger streak in you until somebody hurt your feelings, and then or till somebody disappointed you, or till somebody let you down. And so you have to be willing to say, I learned about myself that I really can get fired up. I can really get angry when somebody hurts me. That's something you will have to deal with, because you don't want to take that in your next relationship. You don't want to, so.
That's good. That's good. So I love this. We've talked about the art of pursuing in ministry, in the corporate world, and we've even talked about it in relationships. Yes. Now, how can we even teach our kids teach them early. I know there's a lot of things that we wish that we were taught when we were coming up, and our parents did the best they could with us. And so but we could do even better for the younger people coming in. What do we say to young people about that?
Young people want people that are real. That's the number one thing when it comes to young people. They want people, they want to be able to identify you. They want realness. They don't want you giving them, a fairy tale story. They want you to be able to share with them your life experiences and your lessons, and not to say that, hey, you may make this mistake, but let me tell you the road that I went down, and I can give you what the lesson that I learned. And it's not to say that you wouldn't go down, you're not going to still go down this road, because sometimes young people, even I was young, sometimes those lessons you have to learn on your own. But you can at least share with them and be real, let them know every day wasn't rosy. Every day I wasn't, saved and had vision and had purpose and had passion and pursue, and I wasn't an evangelist. So every day is not like that. So we have to encourage our young people to pursue the dreams, go after the vision, go after the degrees, go after the college scholarships, pursue while you young. That way, when you get older, you can say, hey, I did everything that I needed to do. So we have to encourage our young people. My goodness, young people today are going through so much that we didn't even go through. We didn't have social media. That everybody put everything on social media, and sometimes our young people can get caught up into the social media world, and that can take a toll on them emotionally. So we just have to be willing there to listen to them and kind of steer them in the right direction. But then I say this, we got to do it with love. For young people, they want realness, they want true love, they want somebody who could be real, they want somebody who got their back, who understand, who not putting them down. You got to be able to identify. You got to be able to say, I know you made a mistake, but I still love you. I know you didn't listen to what I said, but I still love you, because I didn't always listen to what my parents said. And, so I think for young people, we just have to encourage them to live your life. Don't be reckless, but live your life. Don't be reckless. Make some decision, but make them wise.
Right. And even with that, with our young people who, I have a lot of college kids who do listen to my show, who because of my son. And that's one thing I'm always sharing with the young people about: do it now. Pursue it now. If you want that master's degree, you have your bachelor's, go after that master's degree now. Don't wait till you're old and try to go back to school like a lot of us have done. Right. Do it while you're young, while your brain is still fresh. Right. Jump on, pursue those dreams. I had at one point, my daughter was a trainer for a company, and she was traveling, and I would always tell her, I said, just enjoy yourself, girl, because we're jealous. So all of us are jealous. But you can do that now because you're single.
That's right.
And so when you get a husband, it's going to probably slow down, and when you get kids, it's going to stop. So
right.
Enjoy yourself. She would travel to different cities, and while she was there, she would do sightseeing and be able to enjoy the city. And I was always told her, and do it now.
Do it now.
Enjoy it now, because life changes. It really does. And so that's what we need to continue to let our young people know: pursue your dreams, and don't pursue a person. You're not pursuing a husband. You're not pursuing a wife right now. Be focused. And follow your dreams and do things that that even people say, oh, you're crazy or whatever. No, I'm pursuing my dreams. This is my dream to travel in Europe. This is my dream to study abroad. This is my dream. And so I'm going to do what I need to do, because I don't want to have regrets later.
That's right. And that's part of what I say in the book, do it now. I told, if you're reading this chapter, you're reading this book, just get up and do it now. Why wait? Time is so short. So like you said, so many things come in our lives. And even if you don't have children and husband, when you get older, you start thinking about, well, man, I got bills to pay. I need to keep
life.
I need to get right.
Yeah, I had one of my daughters daughters told me that after she wanted to hurry up and finish school. And I was like, well, get everything you can in now. And so, she's like, I'm really ready to get into the business world, and I'm ready. And so when she got into the business world and she got her own condo and everything, so she was like, I don't know if I'm enjoying this grown-up thing. Yeah, because everything else is added to it. So do everything before you get bogged down with the house and the mortgage payment and the car payments. So let me even ask you about even a seasoned adults.
Yes.
Who may decide, hey, I've been working at this job for all these years, and now I'm looking to do something different. What would you say to that person about just pursuing their dreams, even in a seasoned state or seasoned age?
Yes. I say, if you still got breath in your body and you still alive, I said go for it. Because of the fact that, you're never going to know if this was what I should have been doing if you just don't go ahead on and do it. I think, even if you're on, I know sometimes, people can, do life now after your kids are grown, so now that your kids are grown, sometimes people be like, well, what am I going to do now? Now it's time for you to live your life,
Exactly.
reinvent yourself. What is the new me?
I like that. Reinvent yourself.
Reinvent yourself. Now what is the new me? What does the new me look like? Before it was the mom, me the wife, me the provider, me the mature one. But what does my life look like now? So I even say for us, some of us seasoned people that if you still left here after all we've been through in the 2020 year, and your number did not get called like they said, and you still here, and you have an opportunity to do what your next mission is, your next opportunity, I said go ahead and do it now. Let nothing hold you back, because you don't want to say, like you said earlier, you don't want to live with regrets. And even to say, I might be in my senior years, but at least I took the opportunity. It's all about taking a leap. I think I heard Bishop Jake say that you got to take a leap, and sometimes you have to leap into what it is your next. So go ahead, leap on, jump in it, you got to activate your faith in order to get there and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to let anything hold me back. I'm going to write this book. I always say, I was going to write a book. I have another book in my head, and I think, just the chapter, hopefully the chapter has ignited me to get what I need to do to get the actual book out. But you just want to do it. You actually just want to just go ahead on and do it and stop procrastinating, because time is so short. You might as well enjoy your life now.
That's right. And I don't have the ticker on today. I'm looking at this. I'm like, where's my ticker? And I did not put the ticker on. So for someone who wants to reach you, how can they reach out to you, Pastor Claiborne?
Well, they can reach me. I'm on Facebook, Michelle Claiborne on Facebook. That's really where I'm at the most. So you can inbox me there and just get me there, and you can always find me. Y'all always see me on Facebook.
Okay. And this book comes out in November. And so, okay. And they can find it on Amazon. And
yes. Okay. I'll have the link on my Facebook and everywhere where you can be able to get the book. And it's a whole lot of different other authors in there that are wonderful chapters in there. So it's just good. Yep. So November 2021, look for it to come out. And it's entirely free.
Okay, and just wanted to remind everyone, if you're looking for someone to speak at your conference, Pastor Michelle is an amazing speaker. She would definitely enlighten your crowd. She can preach, she can teach, she can dance. She'll motivate them. They'll be ready to run right out and get started in whatever they're doing. So make sure to even look her up as far as speaking at your conferences as well. So we're almost out of time. Can you in 30 seconds just share something with our audience to encourage them on our way out?
I say keep hold of the faith. Don't lose it. Even if you feel like you're in a stuck situation, you're not stuck. Just get up. As long as you got that next minute, that next hour, that next day to get done what you need to get done. I said pursue. Remember, you're great. The greatest person is the catcher. So run after your dreams. Go after your passion. Just do it now. You win it now because you're doing it now.
That's good. You're winning now because you're doing it
now.
And really quick, I just wanted to say, I'm always telling all the listeners about comparison. Stop comparing yourself to other people. When you're pursuing your dream, don't compare, because what God has for you is for you. That's right. Amen. Well, that is really good. Thank you again for being on my show. Our time flew by. Will you come back again?
I sure will.
Okay, good. You definitely have to come back and talk about the book again some more too.
Sure will.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening to Conversations with Dr. Harriet and our special guest, Pastor Michelle Claiborne, here on the Power Network. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.